I've gotten quite a few requests to do a tutorial video for Hunter x Hunter music, so I decided to give it a shot. In this video I'm going to go through In the Palace Agitato and give some practice tips along the way. I've provided free sheet music with my bowings and fingerings in the description. All of the other sheet music for my videos are available through Patreon, so if you haven't already, take a look at my page and please consider supporting my work. The opening phrase is a fast double stop passage, but what makes it simple is that you only have to finger notes on the D string. To practice this, try isolating the moving notes, converting them into quarter notes, and tuning them against open A. Next, add the dotted rhythm to practice right hand and left hand coordination. Finally, play it as written. Next comes a fast scalar passage in A melodic minor. Passages like this become easier and practically sight-readable the more you practice scales, so I would recommend including a 3-octave A melodic minor scale in your daily warm-up as you're working on this piece. If you're looking for a scale book, Carl Flesch's scale system is a great option. There's a link in the description. When the notes go by this quickly, it's better to think of placing groups of fingers rather than individual fingers. Try practicing it like this, and gradually speeding it up. If you're practicing the scale very slowly to start off, always aim for fast finger placement. You want to place the left-hand fingers at the last moment possible. This prepares you to play faster and gives you the greatest amount of clarity. Here, we return to a development of the opening material, but now there are 2 fingered notes moving in parallel fifths. Let's practice this in the same way. Tuning fifths may require maneuvering of your hand position through elbow angle and finger placement. The next part is similar, so let's leave out the open string notes and practice the melodic part in rhythm. Note that in measure 14, the first interval is a tritone, not a perfect fourth as in the following 5. When you come out of this passage, feel measure 15 leading into measure 16 and measure 16 leading into measure 17. You can achieve this sense of direction in the phrase by feeling a crescendo as you lead into the next measure. I like to play the chord in measure 17 without rolling. To do this, start with the bow on the string, placed on the middle note of the chord. When you begin to move the bow, add enough weight into the string so you hit all 3 notes at the same time. Then release the weight and sustain the top 2 notes. In measure 19, shift using the same fingers you started on. I think bringing out the slide here adds intensity to the passage. Everything from measure 22 through 26 can be played in third position. Keep your first finger in place to help keep intonation consistent. The trickiest thing about this part, going all the way up to measure 30, is coordination between the 2 hands. The left hand has to be ready to play the note ever so slightly before the bow changes direction. If you're having trouble with the timing, try this practice method. We're going to rewrite this passage so that the rhythm forces you to anticipate with the left hand before the change of bow. Make the dotted notes as long as possible and the 64th notes as short as possible. Start slowly and speed it up as fast as practical. Then let's return to the original rhythm. Measure 31 is relatively simple. Just start slowly and tune the intervals against the open string. In measure 34, you're replacing second finger with the first finger to shift into second position. I think adding a tenuto on the downbeat makes this easier and helps the music fall into place. When the double stops begin again, add an accent on the first beat to set that idea into motion. This next part puts your string crossing ability to the test. For repeating string crossings, keep the motion as small as possible and try to use your wrist and fingers rather than the whole arm. You can practice this by making circular motions with your right hand to move the bow along two open strings. When your wrist moves down, your fingers extend. When your wrist moves up, your fingers contract. The combined motion lets you do string crossings without using your larger arm muscles. This passage also contains a lot of repeated notes, played on two different strings. The idea here is to stay consistent with the string crossing pattern and add timbral interest to the line by slightly changing the sound quality of each note. The ending of this piece is a chromatic scale passage with string crossings going into the high register. Let's practice the moving line first as a scale. The higher you go up on the string, the closer to the bridge you'll have to play, and the less weight you'll put into the string. Work your way lower in the bow by using slightly more bow on the up bows than the down bows. This way, you'll have enough bow on the long note at the end.